Hey everyone, this is then part 2 of the sequence to complete disassemble a Shadow 2 optics ready. So the part 1, I did the frame, completely taking apart a frame of a Shadow 2 optics ready. Now on this video, I'm going to do the slide. So before I begin, just like I did in part 1, I'm going to review the tools that I'm going to use with you guys here. So first tool, I'm going to need a gunsmith hammer, a T10 Torx, and this is to remove the optic plate. In this slide, I have mounted a 3G cone SRO, which also uses, by good coincidence here, T10 Torx screws. So this tool will remove both things. I'm gonna need a roll pin punch, a regular punch. They're both 1/16 size. And here comes the weird thing, or the different thing. I'm gonna need a 10mm, or I'm gonna use in this case a 10mm 1/4 socket. This is for when I'm going to remove the bushing. I'm gonna need that and a either a T-handle or one of those extensions that you can just attach to the socket, and this will catch the bushing inside the slide and will drive by the other end, will drive the bushing out. When I'm doing that, I'm going to be also using some sort of penetrating oil, like in this case WD-40 will work just fine. I heard stories up there, people freezing the slide before they try to remove the bushing or anything like this. You don't really need to do any of that. It comes out quite easily. Actually, I've done a ton of times. As long as it's soaked with some good penetrating oil, beforehand, you should be able to do it with not too much of a challenge. You're going to also need a gunsmith block. In this case, I'll use the same thing I used in the part 1 video, which is just a piece of 2x4 with some specific holes here that are done, strategically to align with extractor and other parts that might be driving pins out. And the last thing, but definitely not the least, that you're gonna need here is a vise. So just a regular vise, like this is a cheap Harbor Freight one, doesn't need to be anything fancy. Get one of those nylon or wood grips that you can use in your vise, so you don't have metal on metal and it's not scratching your slide when you're working on it. This is it. Let's begin. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is remove the recoil spring, the guiding rod here. So I got the guiding rod, the little buffer, plastic buffer that comes with it, recoil spring out. Now the barrel. Alright, gonna use my gunsmith block here just to support the slide, and I'm going to remove the dot and the red dot and the optic plate. So T10 Torx, loose. There we go. 3G cone SRO red dot is out. Next is my optic plate. Optic plates out. We're going to remove the extractor now. So this little part here that you can see from the inside as well, there's a little hook there. We're going to remove to remove the extractor, you need to drive this little pin. You need to use your punch, your 1/16 punch, straight punch to drive this pin out. Always holding the extractor when you do so, because it's under tension and you don't want anything to fly out of here. Got my 1/16 punch, line up with the right here with the pin. Start hammering it out. It's kind of hard. My finger here is gonna be touching the extractor, and as soon as I feel the tension, I'm gonna kind of feel a click as soon as the punch replaces the pin and holds the extractor by itself. There we go. My pin is out. Put the extractor pin here. Now I can pull the punch pin, put the punch out, holding the extractor with my index finger here, and the extractor is going to come out. That's my extractor. And the extractor spring. Next, I'm going to remove the firing pin spring, and this firing pin plate. This plate here in the back that holds the firing pin in place. So you can use the vise. Normally, it's a good idea to use the vise to hold your slide like standing like this, but you don't really need to. You can just hold it like this. I'm going to use, I have a good experience with this, so I'm going to use my 1/16 punch to just slide the firing pin plate here out of the place. Displace the firing pin plate so the firing pin come out. But you have to be careful not to scratch or damage your gun when you're doing this. So if you're really kind of it's the first time you're trying to do this, maybe use a nylon punch or anything, like even like a pen, anything will work that is plastic. So if you kind of a miss or just moves in a different direction here, you're not going to scratch the gun. So just push in, you push the firing pin in, and then let it come out and start moving the plate out of the way. There we go. The firing pin plate is out of the way already. As soon as I push it completely out, the firing pin is going to come out. So I'm going to put my finger here, not to let it fly out or shoot out of here because it's under tension. There you go, firing pin plate out. Now my firing pin spring should come out. There you go. Firing pin and firing pin spring. Alright, next we go to the vise, because what's left to remove here is the front sight. Well, there's a roll pin holding the front sight and the bushing at the same time. We're going to remove that roll pin, and then the front sight and the bushing is going to come out. Let's go to the vise. Okay, I'm here at the vise, and before I do anything else, I'm going to do that. Soak this whole area here where the bushing is and the front sight with WD-40. If your goal is just to remove the front sight, just to remove the the roll pin to remove the front sight, you don't necessarily need to do this. But since I'm going to remove the bushing too, and I need the time, for the penetrating oil for the WD-40 to actually get into it, soak the bush into it. So I'm going to start doing this right now as I remove the roll pin. So let me get a little bit of shop towel here and just go. Be very generous here with WD-40 all over here. Get from inside as well a little bit. WD-40 would not cause any harm to your gun anywhere, so you're fine to be generous here and let a good amount of WD-40 to be there. And you want it to go and soak, get in between the bushing and the slide here, to make it easy for you when you're driving out the bushing. So I'm gonna putting this on the vise in this position here, well supported with enough force here to make sure it's well supported and won't move anywhere. As I'm gonna use my punch to drive this out here. So I'm gonna use my 1/16 roll pin punch. Get that in the. Well, I should show this in the camera video actually. So we're talking about this pin, this roll pin right here. That's what we're gonna remove now. So let me see. I'm gonna use a straight punch here. And I like to go really. This is not really a big impact or anything. I just drive it with a little, and it's already coming out. Oh no, the camera probably won't catch it. Let me show you. Just those little taps, it's already coming out. There's no reason to hit this really hard, at the risk of scratching your gun or anything. Like I said, you saw that. I soaked with, WD-40, this whole thing. It comes out really easy now. So I'm gonna continue driving it out completely. Then I'm gonna get the front sight out, and then we'll start driving the bush. There we go. Get the roll pin out. Put this aside. Now your front sight should come out. Sometimes it doesn't. You can get, I forgot to add that to the tools list, but a nylon punch, and you can put here just to drive, just a little tap to drive your front side out. Notice I'm not really hitting anything hard, so really easy came out. It's just plastic on it, it's not going to cause any damage. Great. Now what's left, the last thing here in the slide is completely naked now. Basically there's not much, there's nothing else here to be removed but the bushing. So I'm going to change the position here this way, support keep this very well supported, actually a little bit more than it, 90 degrees angle here, 90-degree angle, support this really well, good force here because I'm going to be driving from the top, and if this is not really grabbing this slide with enough force, this slide is going to slide out. So this should be good. 10mm socket. I'm using a T-handle. It doesn't need to be a T-handle, like an extension would work. And it is going to go through the slide here in until it catches the bushing. Right now, it's stopping. The only thing that stops this 10mm socket to go through the slide is the bushing. That's why I like the 10mm socket there. So all I have to do now is start driving out. I'm going to stop just to show you how easy this is coming out. It's already, the bushing is already, like there's a good 20% of it out already, as you can see. So I'm not really doing a lot of, huge hits or anything. Really easy coming out. And I promise you, I did not freeze this is a slide before, as I've seen people talking about it. Alright, so, and of course, just keep driving it. My bushing is out. Drop. Nothing is scratched, no issues, no damage to the slide, and this is a completely disassembled slide. Hope you enjoyed.